One more wine, one more whiskey, and we just kept the car in park and dim the headlights so we see the stars. Let them tell us where we should start. And I'm scared as hell because there's no way to know how this goes. But I can't help but say I promise to give you my all. But it might break me. It might break me, break me. It might break me, break me. It might break me down. I won't let you down. But it might break me, break me. It might break me, break me. It might break me down. It might break me. It might break me. It might break me. It might break me down. But it might break me. It might break me. It might break me. It might break me down. But it might break me. The sight of you, it makes me dizzy. And when you're gone, I miss your face. Tonight I'll meet you in our favorite place. And just can't let this wait one more day. But I'm scared as hell, and there's just no way to know how this goes. And I can't help but say, trusting why you are so beautiful. But it might break me. It might break me, break me. It might break me, break me. It might break me down. I won't let you down. But it might break me, break me. It might break me, break me. It might break me down. But it might break me. It might break me. It might break me. It might break me down. But it might break me. But it might break me, break me. It
Welcome to the internet.
Hey.
Hey.
Dang, less ceremonious every single time. It's truly impressive.
Yeah.
By the end, it's just going to be like, the internet. All right.
Amazing.
Call me if you need anything. Dan's the parent that goes to the movie theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the guy who oversees the SATs. He's just like, I'll be here. No one do anything. Don't make me have to fill out paperwork.
Oh, man.
Good stuff. Good stuff. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Oh, good.
Doing pretty good.
Alex, how's new puppy life?
You know, it's a lot. I think it's going well. It's going very well. She is just horribly smart. One thing that she
one of the smartest dog
doing,
breeds.
one thing that she started doing recently is she'll pick up one of her toys and then take it over to somewhere and lay down and start playing with it next to something that she actually wants to chew on. And then she'll kind of slowly be like, I'm playing with my toy, I'm playing with my toy. Oops, I missed my toy. Oops, now I'm chewing on this thing. And then she starts like chewing on that thing and I'm like, I see what you're doing.
That's funny.
We paint our own backgrounds. We certainly did not. That requires talent.
Which we're in short supply here, so if you have any to donate, please go to our Patreon and donate your talent.
We're holding a talent drive later this week. If you want to come drop it off, it's by the school. We're going to have some boxes out there for talent. If you have any used, pre-owned, any condition, we'll take it. And webuyanytalent.com.
It's true. Talent diminishes quickly too, so we're always in need. Just because you gave once doesn't mean you can't give again.
Do you ever see those signs on the highway that are just like, we buy houses, and then a phone number? I'm like, who are the people that actually call that number and successfully sell a house? But now I imagine our strategy is we buy talent and a phone number on the side of the highway.
Yeah, we're just the world's worst talent agency. That's what our gimmick is.
Yep.
Well, those signs, apparently, I learned, or I've been told, not always, but sometimes those signs are like, that's a way for drug dealers to essentially just advertise like to buyers. Because who would bother calling those numbers unless you know that a drug dealer's on the other line, and then you have to like say some kind of code word or something like that, and they'll be like, oh, okay, what do you want? You know?
I thought.
Well, also a lot of times the legitimate ones, legitimate in hyphens, is just people that are either looking to buy land cheap and don't care about the house because they just want to develop, or they're flippers who are trying to buy the world's worst house, flip it for as little money as possible, and then
That makes
walk away.
sense.
So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So their target demographic is people who are desperate enough to sell their house to a
Cheaply.
sign on the road.
Right. Exactly.
I think it's funny that if that drug dealer thing is true, that like they also think their like demographic is like people that need to get rid of their house, you know? They're like, we have a niche market.
Imagine being the drug dealer there, and like you're just forced into becoming a flipper at the same time.
Yeah, you just start working on the houses you're in accidentally.
This is kind of a beautiful story.
Yeah.
They actually just like get into community development and like realize that like, oh, I shouldn't be selling drugs.
This is our improvised story tonight.
There was a movie I watched one time. I'm pretty sure it was a movie. It might have been a TV show where the boss, there was like a mob boss or whatever, and he came in and he's like, we got to do more mob boss things. And the guy who oversaw the warehouse was like, actually, boss, our front is doing really well. We're thinking about going straight. Like, the lumberyard's been making business out the wazoo. We don't even need to steal anymore. Like, but we do it.
That's
what we do.
That's the American dream right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hustle until your front is your actual job.
Exactly.
Stick that on an embroidered pillow.
Stick that on a handwritten sign on the highway.
Well, we don't need to dawdle anymore. I suppose we can go ahead and dive right into tonight's Mindscape. For those of you that haven't joined us for a Mindscape in the past, essentially what we're going to do is try and attempt to tell a full improvised narrative. So what we're going to need to go ahead and get started is just a genre and a location. Go ahead and start throwing those in chat now. And yeah, we're going to start here, and then we'll see where we end up. The fun part is you chat can help influence where the story goes. Anytime that we volley up a suggestion, everyone who isn't speaking is going to get an opportunity to have a word to influence the story. And then whatever you're feeling in chat most through VOD, that's where the story will go. So if you wanted to have a dark dramatic twist, that's up to you. And if you wanted to have a happy ending, that's up to you as well. But we're going where you're taking us. So we're all buckled in for the ride ahead of us.
Yeah.
Pretty high.
Or I really want to say that's just Twilight, but I realize I know too much about Twilight to realize it's not in Florida.
It's
in Fort, right, Dan?
Forks, Washington.
Oh, I thought you said it was in a forest.
Oh, yes, that too, but Forks is specifically the town.
I thought you were like, it couldn't be Florida, it's in a forest.
Yeah. The long-winded way to get to the right answer.
Actually, I'm very surprised. I thought it was in New England, but now I officially know too much about Twilight.
Yeah. I wrote a whole sketch. I wrote a whole Twilight sketch where the only like real clue in that I tell the audience is that I tell them at the beginning. They're like, "All right, we're at the town meeting for Forks, Washington." And I'm like, if people know, they'll know. And then they figure it out halfway through the sketch one. Yeah, I love that one.
That's good. That's
It's
powerful stuff.
it's all just about a jorts salesman that is like, we don't need to stop whatever the kids are doing. My sales have been going through the roof. And that's it. That's the whole sketch.
Interesting. Dan, one day we really do need to have you come do some sketch on our show and tell show.
Yeah.
Give you a full hour. You can do whatever you want.
Oh no.
Or work for Dad. Go ahead and keep those locations and genres coming in chat. Go ahead and enter more than one if you're feeling so fancy.
Absolutely. I feel like we might want to say, normally when we ask for genres, we're looking for things that are not genres. This time we are looking for genres.
It's good to clarify those types of things.
Dom, do you not have your headphones this week?
I don't. I'm not in my normal streaming location this week.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm moving up in the world.
He's a fake gamer.
I am a fake gamer.
Here.
Wait a second. Hold on. I think I hear something behind me. Dom?
Ah!
Did you break into my house?
I'm in everyone's house all the time.
Oh,
I'm Big Brother.
that's a genre, Big Brother. what are real genres?
No, I feel like we've corrupted your abilities to capitalize on what a genre is.
I would want to give examples, but then you're less incentivized. Unless if I say all of them. Okay, so you got drama, you got comedy, you got romance, you got sci-fi, you got western, you got fantasy, you got apocalypse, you got the past, you got the future. And by past, I mean a period piece. You got horror, you got thriller, you got suspense, you got musical, you got children's, you got fish out of water, you got coming of age, you got
Getting the band back together, buddy cop.
Buddy cop.
Okay,
Odd
we're
couple.
we're slowly drifting out of genre and into trope, but keep going.
Oh shoot.
Heist. Jailbreak.
Yeah, we're getting a little. Yeah, that was a good chunk.
Yeah, so what of those and potentially more would you guys be interested in having us use our mouth holes for tonight?
Or you're getting more and more specific, and I'm getting more and more scared every time.
We can dissect their suggestions.
Hey, Kath!
What's up,
Hey, Kath.
Kath?
Hello.
Hope you're having a good week too.
Dan, why don't you pick the genre, and Max, why don't you pick the location? You have everything that we've seen thus far.
Okay, let's see. I'm reading some of these genres as locations and the other way around, and I think it's funny.
Your location is fantasy.
I think we
yes.
could just go with a clean sci-fi.
A clean sci-fi?
We haven't
All right.
really done sci-fi before.
That's true. That's very true.
We've leaned mostly fantasy, so let's see what happens when we have to justify what we're making up.
Right.
So thanks for sci-fi suggestion from Tor.
Hey, Tar
Tar
Pit.
Tar Pit. Good to see you.
Yo.
Tar, your mural came out amazing. I was pretty blown away with it. If anyone gets a chance, go check out. I think most of it's on TikTok as well as Twitch, so go check out Tar Pit's mural. It's pretty phenomenal. Good stuff.
As for the location, I like that it's specific, but it's not super specific. I like the Rockies, just that mountain range of the Rockies.
So this is our Western, no, not Western, this is
Sci-fi.
our sci-fi Rockies.
That takes place in the Rockies.
Fully improvised story, driven by chat. Mindscape. Is that a good enough summary of why we're here tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Excellent.
we're making a story. That's correct, Tar Pit.
Yep. Narrative improv, one of the most dangerous forms of improv. All right. Alex, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Oh boy. Okay, here we go. Give me a minute. Let me let that concept stew a little bit. See where we can start it off here.
And as a reminder, chat, there's going to be several moments, like pretty frequently, that you are going to vote on the direction that the story goes in. So the poll will show up in chat, so just be ready to vote when that pops up.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
All right.
See how this goes. All right. You know, there are a lot of numbers between 1 and 100. Some stand out more than others. Some simple, some favorites for certain people, some famous for different reasons. 51 stands out as a pretty famous number, especially in regards to the Western United States. But we're not talking about 51. This is 52. A lesser known area, a little farther to the north, up near the Rockies. In fact, in the Rockies, there exists an area, Area 52, that, well, it's not quite as famous as its southern counterpart, but it plays its part. It does important research as well. And on one particular day, there was a breakthrough.
It's great.
There's our lead in.
Mm-hmm.
It's
All
good.
right.
We'll do
Hey,
go down
boys.
order for words.
Go
So
down
what's
order.
that?
All right.
What is it? All right. So I guess did you guys explain the mechanic? The way that this is going to work basically is each of our 4 other storytellers are now going to say one word that is going to be sort of a hook for where the story goes next. And then chat, it's up to you to vote on which word we take and who will be the new narrator.
All right, Steve?
All right. My word is arcade.
Weather.
Coffee.
Mop.
Alrighty.
All right, chat. Now it's up to you to decide where this story goes.
I'm excited. I love this.
We have so much promise here in
That's some
Area
interesting
52.
words. What could they mean? Does the narrator who said the word even know? Possibly.
Just vote by clicking on the poll up on the poll.
Yep, we got a poll there, or there, or there, or there, depending on how you're watching this. So.
It's right there.
It's here. It's right here.
The poll is in your heart the whole time.
Yeah, maybe the real polls with the friends we made along the way.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, it looks like weather is going to be our winning narrative. Take it away.
That's the thing about Area 52. Unlike its more famous cousin, it doesn't have a large swath of open land as it sits atop a flat peak in the Rockies. In fact, the entirety of Area 52 really covers an outhouse and a small metal shed with a giant antenna on top of it. The chrome-plated walls of this small, insulated building lives a single weather scientist. Weather scientist is how he's referred to by all the locals in town. But to the government, everyone calls him Kooky Johnson. Kooky Johnson has been serving up here in Area 52 long since the Cold War. Many people have told him his station has actually been decommissioned, but he's welcome to come back down. But old CJ knows better than that. For CJ's been looking for weather anomalies for a long time. And it just so happens the greatest weather anomaly ever recorded by human eyes has just come over. As he peered his binoculars through the window, sipping cold, lukewarm tea as he does every single morning watching the sunset, he notices something peculiar. The sun doesn't seem to be setting anymore. Well, how strange is that? Where is the sun? In fact, he turns around and the sun's not over there either. CJ, confused, scratches his head, pulls out his star maps, and realizes, yep, there's a big hole in the map because that's where the sun should be. Doing this, he goes and he starts flipping through books on his shelf, and he pulls out one called Astrological Phenomena. And slamming it on the desk, he opens to a random page.
All right. My word is eject.
Is it me?
Yes.
Oh. My word is wave.
My word is bathroom.
My word is horn.
Excuse me? Come again?
Horn.
One more time.
Horn.
Vote now.
Call 1-800-555-SATL.
Listen for the sound of the horn.
Each
Horn.
person gets 5 votes.
Look, it's just wasteful not to also make your words onomatopoeia. That's all I'm gonna say.
My word is pew pew.
Pew,
Pew pew pew. My word is bo-bo-bo, bo-bo-bo.
Basic.
Bo 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 bo.
No, too short.
Yeah, that's it. Bo 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 bo.
Bo.
There we go. That's
Isn't that it? Yeah, that's what I said the first time.
Alright, well, it's a close race, but it looks like Wave is taking it away. Oh no, I hit
Whoa!
end and then it was a
Right
tie!
when you hit the button.
Oh god! Oh no, it's
Well, I started it off, so why don't we take the person who hasn't gone yet?
Okay, that's me. CJ starts to flip through the book, trying to find the page that could explain where the sun has gone. But outside of his little shack, he hears a car that's pulling up very quickly with its horn blaring. We hear from outside of the building, "Cookie, what the fuck is going on?" CJ knows exactly who this is. These are those government jerks that come and visit him to make sure that he's following their program. They jump out of the buggy that they rode up in, and they have their sunglasses on their neck as they realize they don't need it because the sun is not out. They come up and they knock on his door and they scream, "Hey, Cookie Monster, what the hell you doing in here? Do you know what's going on?" CJ is like, "Oh, hold on a second. I'm trying to look through this book and figure it out." CJ flips quicker and quicker, knowing that if anything from high school taught him anything, that bullies will be bullies, even if it's not his own fault. He gets to the last page and it talks about the orbit of the sun and how the Earth will go around it, and he's trying to read as fast as he can, but it's all not making sense to him for some reason. The door ends up getting busted in, and we see Brad and Phil, the two government jerks that have walked in. They're like, "Hey, Johnson, we've been trying to send you red alerts for the past 20 minutes. What are you doing?" And CJ just looks at them and says, "I was drinking my tea. I'm sorry. I was just trying to enjoy the view." They're like, "We're not gonna have time for views if you don't figure out what's going on here. We let you in charge of this station all by yourself because you were acting up before. So you better figure this out. We have so many people from the government on our asses." They give him a little shove and he knocks into the bookcase behind him and a few books fall to the floor. Brad is like, "Let's get out of here. We gotta go see what all the other areas are doing. Maybe they know what's going on." They jump back into their buggy and they zoom off, still blaring their horn as they go. CJ, he picks up the books that fell on the ground, and one of the books that hit the ground, he doesn't remember being in his library there. He doesn't recognize it at all. What's next?
My word is mystery.
Wow. My word is stone.
Instructions.
Otherworldly.
Yeah, it's one word.
How would it be two?
I don't know. All right, vote away. All right, let's see those votes. Let's see those votes. Good votes.
Oh boy, chat's doing it again.
Can't believe they snuck in that vote and under my clicker last time.
That was impressive.
All right, I'll give you one more time before I click it. You can get it under my finger. All right, otherworldly it is.
Okay. Now, CJ was an avid reader. It's almost all that he did. He had a lot of time to himself. So when he saw that one of these books was not what he recognized, he was very confused. He'd read every book in that shack time and time again. And when he opened the book, it was very odd because it wasn't speaking in full sentences. It was just words after each other. It was bound in a sort of purple linoleum type of covering. And the words that were inside were all very odd. Cow, tall, mouse, shrink, person, death, attack, words just through and through the entire pages, just like that. It would go on for pages and pages. And then CJ realized that, as well as being an avid book reader, he was also an avid code breaker as well. He loved looking through all of these codes that were from the Second World War and onwards, just as something to do with his pastime. So he sits down and he gets out a piece of paper, and he starts to realize that there's a message for him within the book. He starts writing down on the pad of paper. It says, "Walk outside, hold up this book, count to 54. And CJ, you don't get the name Kooky for no reason. He's pretty willing to think that something else is out there. Living outside in a shack, it attracts a certain kind of personality. So he takes the book in hand. He walks out to the center field. He holds it up to the sky, and he counts all the way from 1 to 54. What happens next?
The next thing is enlarge.
Neighbor.
Tunnel.
Beam. All right.
Man, so many ways to go.
Dot, dot, dot.
And we need the dun 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 sound effect every single time. Dun dun dun.
You have to get really close to our microphone.
Oh, I'm so glad that Youngsu Jazz saved one character by typing equals instead of typing out the word is.
But he had to hold down the shift key to. It's the same.
Oh, you're
it's the
right.
same amount.
It's the same amount of button presses.
No,
But the
equals,
message is different.
Equals is not a shift.
Oh, you're right. It's you saved one.
Oh,
you
it's
saved one
not.
button.
Damn it, Steve.
Wow.
All right. Well, it looks like
Very
we're
efficient.
the tunnel we're going down is the tunnel we're going down.
Alrighty. CJ stands there for a second, open book in hand, staring in what is now becoming relative darkness, except for the poking through of starlight. An unnatural night, having lost a sun so previously. As CJ stands there, a beat passes, and another beat, and a third beat comes, and CJ turns to go walk inside, defeated, his head hung low, when suddenly he feels a slight rumble beneath his feet. And then beams of red light shoot up. They shoot up in a perfect circle around the entirety of Area 52. As CJ goes to take another step, the rumbling intensifies so much that he falls over, his face fully in the dirt, ass up behind him, and the entirety of Area 52 slowly begins to descend down the mountain. This is quite shocking to CJ, considering he himself built Area 52 with his own hands years ago. Had he known there was something underneath it, he probably would have gone to investigate it by now. But as he descends, he notices the walls around him are perfectly lined metal tubing, but there's runic-like inscriptions that he doesn't recognize. And as he gets further and further down, he starts to recognize more and more semblance of the English language. First letters, and then a series of smaller words, and then larger and larger words. Had he had time to read them all, he could have surmised that the entirety of the English language might have been here. But as he continues further and further, he finally finds that his house has come to a rest, and it's pitch black down here. All he can see is the faint bit of starlight that still trickles in from the hole above. As he turns around, he looks back, and he sees people that look kind of human, except for the fact that none of them have eyes. Everything else about their appearance is entirely human. And they seem to even be wearing more modern fashions, things like lab coats and sweater vests. As one of them with a clipboard clicks their pen twice, they say, "Ah, finally, someone we can speak to proper."
All right. My word is Galileo.
My word is borrow.
My word is fear.
My word is rob.
Short for
Owen's
Robert.
word is like my word, but meaner.
Oh.
Or Rob is just the name of the guy in the trench coat.
You have to vote
Mine-
to find out.
My word is Jim Carrey. It's hyphenated.
Amazing. CJ certainly finds himself on quite the adventure.
Good old Kooky Johnson. Oh, we got some in. Do we got any more coming?
Don't be stingy. You get to vote every single time.
Mm-hmm.
There's no limit to your votes. Well, once, but you can vote on as many as you want.
There's one limit, but it's okay. It refreshes the group.
There's no limit on your votes except for the limit.
All right, it looks like a Galileo is going to make their appearance.
As CJ looks forward at this strangely humanoid, yet also not humanoid person in front of him, he mentions, as he previously said, finally, someone who we can communicate with. We can communicate with you, right? And all CJ can do is stare almost vacantly, but at the same time perceiving more information than he has ever been aware of in his entire life. Beakers bubble in the background, screens whiz with information in languages that he has seen or only imagined. And all of the people, if you can call them that, buzzing around down here, it shouldn't be possible. He should know that this would have existed. This should have been brought up by the superiors, but it wasn't. And he can't help but wonder why. And slowly everything starts to fade out from his vision as he snaps back to reality, realizing that the figure is now waving his hand in front of CJ's face, saying, "Hello, I know, it's a lot to take in, but promise, we are here in peace. We've been studying for a while. Please, just come take a chair. We've got some snacks. Refresh yourself, and we can go over a little bit. But it is kind of urgent, so you do need to come now." As he takes CJ into the other room, sits him down, pulls out a little juice box of a brand that CJ's never heard of before, and places it on the table with a couple small delicatessen treats. And CJ just goes, what's going on here? And the figure before him goes, "Well, as you may have heard, the sun is gone now. That's a big problem for us, seeing as if there's no sun, our little experiment upstairs will eventually die. And we really need to get this back on track. If you would be interested in helping us as the only person who can actively communicate with us, since you could decipher our journal." And CJ just kind of looks at him in bewilderment and says, but anyone could do that. That's basic code. And the creature in front of him says, "It was a little bit trickier than that. You see, I've been around for a long time. Now, you may have heard of some of the great astronomers, Galileo, Copernicus, some of the other famous magicians and men of science throughout the years. Well, Galileo was my father. You can call me Oppenheimer. And I really need your help. What happens next?
Next is turn.
Tangent.
Creation.
Mud.
Oh man.
Mud.
Horn.
Mud.
It's crazy to me how at every beat we're gonna go in 4 complete different directions.
Yeah.
Yup. Yup.
Amazing.
Get your votes in. This is one of the times where you have unlimited votes, except one for right now.
This is one of your limited, unlimited votes.
Look, you have all of your votes. I just hold all of them, and you just ask me when you want one, and I'll give you one.
Dan, can I have one?
Yeah, you can have one.
Okay, thanks.
Dan, can I have one?
No, Steve.
Oh.
There's a limit. We can't just go giving them out.
Yeah.
Don't ration your votes.
All right, well, we're going on a tangent.
Oh boy. Barreling down the mountain, the road circling lower and lower down the base, driving away from Area 52 as dust kicks up behind them. Phil leans an arm out the window, blaring the radio as he's constantly flipping through the stations, trying to find one that hits the mood of the panic that's set in. As they're driving in the dark, headlights on high, higher than they've ever been in this car, they find themselves having an idle conversation between the two of them. So, you think it's that bad? Yeah, I think it's pretty bad. The fucking sun's gone. Look. No need to yell at me. I didn't take the sun away. Well, if you didn't, who did? I don't know. Maybe CJ did. CJ, that guy couldn't even get himself his tea proper. I don't know how he's going to steal the sun. Suddenly, as these two are jabbering, the landline that still exists in this buggy starts to ring uncontrollably. It sounds like the Mario theme. As they pick it up, Phil, who isn't driving, takes his hand from out the window, reaches across himself, picks up the phone, and unbuckles his seatbelt, life on the edge. On the other side, there's a calm, cool, collected voice, and it says, "Hey." He goes, "Hey, what's up, boss man? How's it going?" And he goes, "Have you visited CJ yet?" And he goes, "That old nut? Yeah, we just came from his place. What's good?" And then as they see a billboard sign merging onto a highway for Denny's, he hits his friend, nudging his thing as he goes, "Hey, boss man, we're thinking of getting lunch soon." And the voice cuts him off abruptly. "No, go back. I need him." "Come on, boss. We gotta go all the way back up there. We just got down the damn mountain." "Get back up the mountain immediately and bring me CJ. I've left you something in the trunk." Unsure what that means, boss man, but what do you say you double our pay, huh? And he says, "What do you say I spare your life?" He goes, "Oh, alrighty. Back up the mountain it is." He hangs up his phone. Phil takes the seatbelt, clicks it back in. His stomach lets out a light grumble. He smacks his friend on the back of the head. They bust a Yui on the middle of the highway, driving backwards up the highway. They start off the up ramp, all the way up, and start rumbling their little buggy up the mountain once more.
All right. My word is rectify.
Mine is globe.
Mine is communicate.
Mine is uncap. All right.
Wait.
I will admit that I did accidentally write the word rectum first instead of rectify.
Good work, Dan.
Well, whatever gets you there in the end, right?
Yep. Yuxi Jazz, the music wasn't I just have general adventure music and it lines up. So who's to say?
Ooh, I'm listening. It sounds good, Dan.
Hey, motion, no context needed. We want that chaotic vote. But
Yeah, let's get on in here.
That's what we
Quick
want.
recap. There's a guy named CJ, stands for Cookie Johnson. He lives in Area 52. His house has just been pulled underground because he decoded a cryptic purple journal. He's been met by a faceless individual whose name is Oppenheimer, who needs him to help return the sun. And there's two guys driving up a mountain at the behest of their mysterious boss. That's where we're at.
we do need a tiebreaker.
What could happen next?
We're currently between Rectumfy and Globe.
The Harlem Globetrotters.
Well, I just went, so we can go with who the other person is.
We'll see. They still got a little bit of time.
Okay.
Still got a hot sec. What they gonna do? What they gonna do when they vote for you? And there it is. All right. Round we go. Back to Globe.
Globe. Okay, that's me. CJ is standing there with Oppenheimer, and Oppenheimer says, "Come, I need to show you something." Oppenheimer takes CJ through a passageway through the tunnels, and they're the same sort of sleek silver, like metal tunnels with runes glowing to sort of as light to sort of light the path. And CJ says, "So why exactly? Why me? What is going on here?" And Oppenheimer says, "Oh, well, you're one of the most knowledgeable people that we could have for this." And CJ is surprised, but not at all. It's a stroke to his ego that he gladly welcomes. So they go through this long corridor, and eventually it opens up to this large sort of observation room where there are mirrors and lenses and all kinds of different glass angles and shapes and sizes. And Oppenheimer says, "Kooky, can I call you Kooky? This place is where we use our equipment to observe the surface. It's how we've been able to monitor all your progress. Unfortunately, the main design sort of flaw with all this is it requires the sun in order for us to be able to see anything. You see, we use reflections and angled light that trickles in through cracks in the mountains or strange trees that we may have placed there, and collects it for our viewing and our data analysis. So without this, there's really not much that we can do with our experiment. And well, without our experiment, we lose funding. And without funding, well, the light being out might not be your biggest issue here on Earth. So it would really help if we got to the bottom of this together. Now, we have some ideas. It's possible that your son was abducted by one of the star snatchers throughout the galaxy. It's also possible that it it experienced what we call sudden collapse, which is essentially where it blinks out of existence too fast to create a black hole or a supernova. But we think the most likely candidate is that one of your people on the surface did this, whether through another experiment or something else involved. It seems like there's a reason behind it, and you humans, well, one or some of you might know more about it than you're letting on. And we think that you might have ties that could give you access to this information. Does that sound right, CJ? And CJ kind of thinks for a second and goes, well, I am part of a sort of secret organization in monitoring different parts of the world, so I suppose that makes sense. And Oppenheimer says, good. Then let's get started by you going back to the surface and acting like you never met us. What happens next?
Next is progress.
Contact.
Prototype.
Reflection. Ooh, vote away, chat.
Excellent use of that command.
Oppenheimer, I already know.
Yes, very good, very good.
Honestly, maybe the best use I've ever seen.
Definitely. Ugh. Oh no, the perfect split.
The perfect split.
Please.
Anything is possible now.
Chet, you're worrying us.
They must all happen.
We all have to do it at once.
Perfectly balanced as all things should be. Oh no! Kitty! No throwing of shoulders, small cat.
Oh no. Right. We have a less balanced tie, but still a tie.
Gumboots. I don't know.
It should just pop up at the top of your chat thing. It should be a little
Yeah.
poll. I have them titled as What's Next.
Are you on your phone? Maybe the app is out of date or something.
I feel
It
like
does-
there's a way to view it on mobile.
It does work on mobile. It's there.
To pop
But-
up over the chat.
Yep. But maybe it's out of date. Yeah.
Who's to say? All right. Reflection it is. Oppenheimer starts to guide CJ back to his shack to send him back up. CJ says, I don't understand. How do you know all about this? You've been hidden under here for so long that I haven't seen you. How would you even know about Star Snatchers and what we humans are doing? Oppenheimer is reluctant to play his cards, but realizes if he wants CJ to sort of go along with what he needs to be done, he offers him a little bit of information. Oppenheimer says, our ancestors, at least my father, Galileo, and other men like him, they were very interested in looking up at the stars. And what they didn't know is that that's the perfect way to make sure that something will look back. So, not everything that you see around you is as it seems. Be careful, and we'll be in touch soon. Just start to look for more clues that we'll be leaving you. And CJ doesn't know how to process any of that. He stands next to his shack as Oppenheimer gives him a friendly wave and walks off of the ground his the earth around him starts to shake as if almost by magic it starts to get raised up back through the tunnel that's been dug down. The words on the walls start to slowly fade back into marble and limestone and different stones, and soon he's resting back where is familiar, and the ground around him is creased back closed. The weeds and the rock has formed back together as if nothing had even happened. CJ sits there, still looking at his lukewarm tea that's sitting on the table, takes a sip of it. He's like, I can taste the tea, so I guess I'm not dreaming. Can you taste in your dream? Oh God, I don't know. He puts his tea back down and looks back. He looks up at the sky, still sunless and growing darker by the minute. He says, well, I guess I have to start looking. I just don't know where. What happens next?
My word, and Dan, I will help you spell this, is Enoch.
I got you.
Okay.
Or I spelled it wrong, but either way.
Enoch.
I got you. All right.
My word is next.
Ambush.
Mine is threatened.
All right. Vote away.
Steve, what does your word mean? For the people who don't know, it's obviously
Isn't it a name?
It's a book. So the Book of Enoch is debated to be a part of the Bible that was left out, about a different group of angels that fell to earth before Lucifer's time. But it was a group called the Watchers that came to earth, and then this was right before Noah and the flood, and eventually I believe they were what caused the flood to have happened, because they corrupted the souls of men.
Steve, you're really selling chat on it, I gotta say.
The fallen angels did a giant cannonball in the ocean, and then the flood started. Yeah.
You said that it's the missing book from the Bible, and my first reaction was just, oh, Bible blooper reel.
Look, the runtime was too long. They had to trim it
Exactly.
down.
Release the Snyder cut of the Bible.
Deleted scenes. Yeah.
The Dead Sea Scrolls are just the Snyder cut.
Yeah.
Release the Enoch cut.
Well, Steve, if you could release some of the Enoch cut for us now, we would appreciate it.
As CJ sat down to think for what seems like the first second he's had a free time in his entire life, at this point, he begins to think, his mind racing. The past few minutes, maybe an hour, he doesn't really know how long it's been since he came out of the tunnel, but he's frantically thinking about what this could mean and what is happening right now. As he starts to drift into his thoughts, he hears a catchy tune, one that he thinks is particularly good regarding this specific scenario, as he hears the crumble of tires over the gravel up to the path that his cabin is in, and he hears the car door, as he usually does when he gets a visit from those guys, and he realizes he doesn't have time. CJ, he can't busy himself with them at this point, and so he grabs the purple bound book, and he grabs a couple other resources that may or may not help him later. As he starts to rush out the back door, he hears a as the front of the cabin cascades in on him, splinters going everywhere as he gets thrown against the back wall before he can even open the door, and the whole front of the cabin has been ripped open. And as he kind of fades back in, his ears are ringing and coming back into focus as if he'd just been hit with some sort of flashbang or noise device. He looks up and sees the two bullies, Phil and Chad, as they kind of giggle to themselves. Chad is getting up off of the ground at this point as he holds a large metallic object that seems to be smoking, but it's kind of a pink misty substance, so CJ doesn't even know if you can consider it smoke, as Phil cracks Chad on the back and says, "Nice going! You could have at least landed on your feet." And Chad goes, "Hey, you wanna try? Go ahead," and kind of shoves the metallic object into Phil's hands. And this kind of back and forth between the two gives CJ just enough time, reaches up for the doorknob, and crawls his way out, clawing at the door to maintain his balance. As he runs out the back door, Phil looks up and realizes that CJ's gone, and he goes, "Oh, well, guess we get to try this again." And he lifts up the package from their boss, the government superior, labeled the Enoch. And he points it ready, fires it up, and that whine, distinct of the first time, begins up as CJ throws himself down the side of the mountain that he can on, and keeps tumbling and running as fast as he can as he hears the splintering of the back end of his cabin as he runs past. And he knows this isn't going to be easy anymore. What happens next?
Grass. My word is grass.
Retaliation.
Levitation.
Denny's.
Sponsored.
That right now.
You're not you when you're hungry.
That's Snickers.
Well, Denny's has a promotional program of the new Snickers stack pancake.
Oh god, that sounds terrible.
Snickers Slam.
I don't
It
even know if
sounds so
that's real
good.
or not. Is that true, or are you making that up?
No, I'm making it up.
It sounds real.
It would have it would be a
I
stack
mean-
of pancakes. It would have like peanuts on top, whipped cream. It would have chocolate syrup and peanut butter syrup. And then
Coming around
maybe
with
some sort of like nougat caramel that's like in between the layers of pancakes.
Uh-oh, thanks for that sub.
Hey,
Thank
you.
Oh, two babies! Ay, ay, ay.
Oh
Two
no,
babies.
twins!
Neither
no.
of them are bakers, though.
Alright, let's continue with retaliation.
It's twins because that's how it works, right? Is it takes twice as long to have
Yeah,
twins?
you got it.
well, it's Irish twins, born within a year of each other.
As CJ scrambles for his life, he trips and he goes head, butt, head, butt, head, butt, head, butt, and he falls almost comedically, like in the old Looney Tunes cartoons he used to watch before he stopped getting reception in '52. And he stumbled and he stumbles and he stumbles, gathering with him rock and tufts of grass as he continues to hurl down the mountain. He stops with an abrupt impact, landing back up against a tree. He's there catching his breath. He can hear the shouting of the two bullies with their new beam weapon off in the distance. And as he goes to catch his breath, he goes to try and move, but his legs are in intense pain. It's so hard for him to muster any bit of strength right now. But he's a clever man. He knows that if he can think his way out of this situation, he'll be just fine. So he starts to look around him, taking inventory of the things he sees. Bushes, not helpful. Twigs, potentially. The tree itself, sticky with sap as he reaches behind him, but nothing too impressive. And then suddenly he feels that. In his coat, he feels kind of a sharp pain, almost like something has pierced him. And as he opens up his coat, there he notices that on the inner lining, there seems to be a small metallic disc-like object. It's cut him badly, and he's starting to bleed from the side of his stomach. But as he takes the disc and he polishes it off, clearing away the blood and the dirt that accumulated from his tumble down the mountain, inscribed on this metal disc, it says, "To our favorite variable." And as he holds it closely, he starts to palm it, taking it side to side. And as he does, he noticed a beam of light jet forth from the ground, bright white. And as he turns it, so too does the beam rotate and angle in different directions. Testing its capabilities cautiously, he turns it and aims the disc slightly such that it hits a bush, and suddenly out there in the background, nothing, just light passing through the bush. So he turns it a different direction, and again, just light. This light doesn't seem to have any kind of impact on the surfaces around it, but it seems that by rotating his hands, he can summon forth beams of light from different points in the ground. Good, he thinks. Good. Except for in the distance he hears, "Hey, I see something over here! Looks to be some kind of flare!" And he starts to scramble once more, tucking the disc back in and grabbing his bleeding side. He ambles to both feet, grabbing one of the larger sticks, and starts to wander lower and lower down the mountain.
My word is corruption.
My word is found.
My word is intervention.
My word is wheelie.
Wheel or wheelie?
Wheelie.
Dan Wheelie wants to tell a story.
This situation is wheelie bad.
Yikes.
Chat, what would you do in this situation?
POV, you're in the
Pop a
woods
wheelie,
and you have
baby.
a strange disc.
And you just talk to people with no eyes underground, and two high school-esque bullies that work for the government with a giant laser gun are coming after you. What you do?
Hashtag just girly things.
Just
Swallow
kooky.
the disc.
Then the light comes from within.
Oh,
The power within. The power within. The power within. The power within.
All right, we got some corruption.
all right. As Phil and Chad make their way over the crest of the hill, they notice some flashing down in the distance. "I think I see a flare!" cries one of them, and they start to make their way down. Phil, who's currently holding the Enoch, shakes his hand off as it's begun to hurt firing it, and he looks and his hand is slowly turning a mangled purple black, unlike the normal color of his skin, and his nails have grown long and jagged under the force of the blows. And this is a little concerning on its own, but it seems to be slowly spreading as he can see the purple aura of it running in veins down his arms. And he looks at it and gets a quick crack on the head from Chad, as Chad says, "Come on, we gotta get him!" And the two of them head down the mountain. back with CJ, he's trying to figure out what he can do with this disc that gives off light. And he realizes that the best thing he can do right now is hope to get away. And so as he sees the two bulky men trying to make their way steadily down, occasionally tripping for only a second before reclaiming their balance down the mountain, he pulls out the disc and points it at them and then pulls it up as a beam of light hits Phil directly from under his chin as he goes down to approach a rock that doesn't look entirely sturdy. The rock gives way as Phil's entire force of his body hits it and goes streaking forward as he reaches out with his corrupted hand to grab Chad, and they both start tumbling down. Now this gives CJ a brief respite from being chased to be able to get away as he books it down into the woods, checking his pockets for any other bits and baubles that may have been left in his pockets as he visited the laboratory. Unfortunately, right now it seems that the only thing he could find was the disc, and he knows that whoever those two lugs chasing him are chasing him for is probably the person who took the sun. With a dour face and the grim realization dawning upon him, he looks back as the two oafish men fall to the bottom of the hill where he was, and Phil cracks his head again on another rock. And CJ turns back and begins booking it back to the two men. And before they can get up and orient themselves, he grabs the Enoch and points it at them. What happens next?
Boss.
Cavern.
Infiltrate.
Trade.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Get those votes.
Yes, I like JMLD's reaction. Eat it!
Eat the disc!
Swallow it! Eat it!
Then you can make light come out of your mouth.
Ah. That's a fun superpower.
Is it a superpower or did you just swallow a flashlight?
Alright, well, looks like we're infiltrating.
Woohoo! Okay. Should I wait for Dom?
He'll catch
I think
up.
You'll catch up, you say?
We can catch him up on the voting break.
Mhm.
Oh,
he's
here he
here.
is anyway.
Okay.
We're infiltrating.
Okay. CJ's holding the Enoch pointed directly at Phil and Chad. And they say, you don't even have the balls to use that. I bet you don't even know how. And CJ says, well, it looks like you both can't even walk either way. Look, why did you come back after me? And they say, pig-headedly, no, you don't want to know. There's things going on here that you simply don't know. And CJ says, it's the big man, right? He sent you? And Phil says, look, whatever you're gonna do, you're not gonna want to see him, okay? So just let us help you out. We'll take you in and we can figure it out together. And CJ says, no, I don't think so. I know I've never talked to him before, but I think now's the time. And without another words, CJ walks back up the mountain to the car that Phil and Brad came from. He looks back to see if they're following him, and it seems like they can maybe limp at best. I mean, CJ's limping somewhat already, but at least he can make his way back up the mountain to the car. He gets to the car, throws the Enoch in the back seat, and turns around. He's been to the facility quite a few times, but never to the lower levels, and he thinks that he's gonna have to go all the way to get to the top. After about a 45-minute drive, CJ arrives at the facility. There's a barbed wire fence. There's a lot of people running around. There's military vehicles going in and out. And at the front gate, he's stopped behind a small row of Jeeps. CJ digs around in the glove compartment, and finds a couple of papers that should get him through the front gate. When he gets there, a military official asks for papers, and he shows them, somewhat concerned, but after a quick glance and cars beeping behind, who are in much more of a rush, the official hands the papers back and hurries him along. Now that CJ has gotten to the front door, he stops to ask himself, what does he even expect to find here? What is he even doing? And CJ realizes, I don't know. I have no idea. But it seems like I'm the only one who can fix this. So he walks through the doors. And just like outside, there's so many people bustling, running around, shouting. There's chaos. What happens next?
Lizard.
Alert.
Labyrinth.
I'll fix that. Elevator. Thank you, autocorrect.
You remind me of the babe.
Get your votes in. Get your fresh votes. Here's your votes.
Dan, you're handing out votes?
Mm-hmm. You get a vote, and you get a vote.
It's the next round of stimulus.
So generous.
Votes here, get your votes here.
Can I have a vote now, Dan?
No.
Rush.
Oh.
Oh, I could go for some stadium food.
I thought you were like, man, I could go for some votes right now.
I would fuck up some votes
Oh,
right now,
guys,
dude.
I would love some goddamn democracy right about now.
Y'all want to order some votes later? Hang.
Dude,
I
Can
have,
I
like-
know a place. I know
yeah.
Some chill.
like really nice, authentic like votes. Oh,
Yeah.
just the best.
I have, like,
Authentic
a
democracy. would be so
A
good.
truckload of like pink ballots. You guys want some?
I don't really like reheated pink ballots.
But we do like labyrinths.
The beaten down buggy pulls into an empty parking lot spot, clearly labeled for higher ups. Normally, CJ is the kind of person who sweats the small stuff when it comes to bureaucracy, but without even a second thought, he turns the engine off and steps outside, slamming the door shut. Feels the wound on his side start to bleed a little bit more, and luckily he was able to find something to wrap it up, but it wasn't sterile and it's barely holding on. Just trying to look calm as he enters the facility. CJ has been here many times. I mean, this is where he got his official license to even start Area 52 all those years ago. But as he walks, he notices it with fresh eyes. He starts to see symbols everywhere. Suddenly, the words from the tunnel start to appear, and almost like a guiding light. He starts to take step by step. As he walks towards the main doors, he notices quickly that there's something on one of the screws in one of the corners of one of the panels of the door, and suddenly his head turns to a larger, long building beside it. Turning from the front gate, he starts to slowly walk towards this building when suddenly on the steps beneath him, the bricks, more symbols that morph into words as he starts to realize, oh, and he starts to walk further and further deep into the base as he's serpentine snaking his way through buildings and rooms and other passages and corridors. He walks upstairs and downstairs and suddenly further and further in. Again, the concept of time blurring past him as he starts to progress through the base. It's weird. He's felt like he's been in every inch of this base before, but suddenly he's finding rooms and passages that he knows he's never stepped foot in. And as lost as he would otherwise be, a sense of direction seems to propel him with each step as he reads the symbols and words around him. Suddenly he finds himself in the back of the cafeteria, a simple mess hall with plenty of hard, cold metal tables and bright orange trays. He used to eat here back when he was initially recruiting and proposing his weather station, but it's different now. It feels almost cold to the touch. Everything is cold to the touch. The door in, each foot step on the tile, and there it is. Back through the kitchen, he finds another set of doors. Now, he's admittedly never been back here, but he has to assume these doors couldn't always be here. It would be too obvious. As he pushes his hand, of course, the door cold, it swings open one half of it, and walking towards it, he suddenly finds a long flight of stairs going down. As he starts to walk deeper and deeper down these stairs, he can feel that the temperature starts to slowly become more moderate and then suddenly quite pleasant as he descends further and further down. At the bottom of the stairs, he notices a similar doors that match the top, and pushing through them, he sees what looks like an entire floor of empty cubicles. Clearly, these are places that people work at and live with. As he walks through, he sees personalizations, touches that are nice. He sees rows and rows of what looks like paper of statistical, mathematical equations. As he gets further and further back, he notices kind of a pulsating light green glow coming from what would be a corner office. The glass is frosted. And as he starts to walk, the disc in his pocket starts to pulsate a little bit more and more as well. Reaching for it, he grabs it in his hand, and it too is now cold to the touch. As the closer and closer they get to this green pulsating light at the back of the cubicles.
My word is termination.
Mine is fraction.
Mine is horror.
My word is uproot. Vote.
Vote now.
Vote now.
And everyone voted so hard that. Oh, man.
Everyone voted so hard, the story ended.
I'm trying to. You guys know history of Japan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that quote from the thing where he's like, everyone voted so hard that like the Capitol building set on fire.
Yeah.
I forget what the exact quote is. I'm trying to think of it.
I don't know. I have no idea.
You haven't seen History of Japan?
At least seen History of the World, I guess, right?
That one actually came after History of Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll show it to you
Oh,
later.
it's the YouTube video.
Yeah.
Right.
worries.
I know of it. I see it on my like YouTube recommended, and it has like a ton of views, and I'm always like, that sounds interesting, and then I don't watch it.
It's so good. You don't have to know or care about the history of Japan whatsoever, and you will still appreciate that video.
Okay.
Well, it teaches you.
How about I do anyway?
All right. Well, termination it is.
As CJ approaches the green light off in the distance, it seems to not get any closer as he keeps moving towards it. But in some way, he feels that he's almost there. And again, kind of instantaneously, he notices he's about an inch away from a wall with a solid green light in the middle of it. And he stares at this green light for what seems like an indefinite amount of time again, but shakes it off quickly, or at least quicker this time. CJ hasn't been used to this much activity in so long, being a weather station. And he feels a slight hum coming from the weird metallic gun, I guess you could call it, sling to his back. And he pulls it out and points it directly at the green light, and something, he doesn't know what, but something is compelling him to fire. And so he steadies himself, seeing as it could throw off people as large and imposing as the two bullies, and hopes for the best as he clicks the trigger and he hears the wind up. But nothing happens. He clicks it a couple more times and it seems to have stopped. But then he looks up and the light on the wall has turned from green to purple as a door emerges from the inner sanctum of the building. Going through the door, he slings the object back over his back and walks into an imposing yet official-looking office with rows upon rows of texts from all eras of human development. And he looks as there seems to be almost nobody in the room. But in classic fashion, the large chair behind the large ornamental desk in the middle of the room spins around. And he notices somebody that he's met only briefly, once or twice maybe, but only on those rare occurrences, such as getting sworn in and seeing his face plastered all over. It was the director, the man in control of all of the operations that signed the bills for his funding and ran all of the areas, notably areas 51 through 58, located out of this side of the US. And something was different today, though. The man, usually a bastion of charisma and energy, looked almost sullen and despondent as he turned around to face CJ and he says, "Welcome. I see you've come for who knows what reason, but I can guess one." And CJ's immediately on alert as he doesn't know what to expect. This is new territory. Has the position been compromised? Has somebody made their way in here and is posing as the director, or is this the true face of the director? The director leans forward and says, "CJ, look, I'm going to level with you. We've got a problem here, and you think that you're the one to solve it, but in reality, it's for someone much above your pay grade. Now, I don't care what Oppenheimer told you." And CJ pauses for a moment and he says, How did you know that?" And the director looks at him and he says, "Well, I have to inform you that we're terminating his little research project right now. What happens next?
Spectrum.
Monologue.
Torture.
Don't just say Denny's.
Oh, it's say Denny's.
Don't say Denny's. Don't say Denny's.
Don't say Denny's. Fuck. My word is illustrate.
Illustrate the kids menu at Denny's.
Torture. Having to wait 35 minutes before you're served at Denny's.
Would never wait that long at a Denny's.
Terminate. I brought you to this Denny's to let you know that you're being fired today.
Oh God. See,
Best way to
Chad,
get
next
fired.
time you need to give a location. You know what we want.
Arby's. They
Well,
have
well, unanimously, let's hear that monologue.
They
Yeah.
want it.
um, the director, sadly hunched over, walks back toward the desk, running his finger along the desk, not facing CJ. He turns around once more to lock eyes with him and says, "That's right. It turns out that this project is what I would deem a failure." He flicks his hands, and as he does, he takes the palms of his hands and rubs them across his face. And as he wipes it away, there he stands, eyeless. Suddenly his sad expression turns into a little bit of a curled smile as he says, "Isn't that right, CJ? You know, we were put here as scientists, the best and the brightest. And it was our job to research the things that happened on this planet. You see, there are many of these seed planets scattered throughout, but we got stuck here. And it turns out our little seed was a little bit more contaminated than some of its counterparts. I wanted to pull the plug from day one, but Oppenheimer said, no, let's see where the monkeys go." And I thought, well, this variable is certainly one that's unaccounted for. And as you know, being a scientist yourself, we don't tend to like unaccounted for variables, ruining our experiment. But no, I waited. I waited as you built and you built, and suddenly you started sucking dry the very experiment that I spent years crafting. So I thought to myself, how do I get revenge? No, that seems petty. How do I set and correct my experiment and still leave here respected enough that I get another shot to continue my life's work? So I thought to myself, that's it. I'll blink out the sun. Heck, if I can do that, then Oppenheimer will have no reason to stay, and he'll be the disgraced one, for he's the one who wanted to continue on with this little endeavor in the first place. And then his head turns as he looks over, eyeless set for the gesture of where his eyes would be, to a large stone tablet that's been mounted onto the wall. As CJ turns to look, he sees that the words of the tablet start to slowly rearrange, and as they start to blink, almost like the turning station stops of a train station. Tiles start to flip down on this tablet, and suddenly the words are rearranged, and it says, "Experiment override." Our villain starts to slowly meander over to this tablet, one hand languidly laying on top of it, as he almost locks eyes with CJ, save for the lack of them being present on his head. And he says, "CJ, I'm disappointed. I didn't spend all of my years having left building up a network and understanding of humanity finding myself in a government position. Do you know how hard it was to bet on which government was going to have enough resources in the first place to fund my new experiments? I don't think you do. Do you know how hard it was having to create fake credentials? Do you know I attended universities? I have a PhD. I could write infinite circles around the PhD'd individuals I studied with, but no, I had to sit here and wait for my exact moment. The day I have seized the sun was taken out, and it was flawless except for one of my divisions, who I had completely forgotten about, had uncovered something that was meant to block me. For you could have built your stupid little Area 52 anywhere on the map, and you chose the Rockies, the very place that my grand expedition started. But no, that's okay, not a problem. Except for Oppenheimer took a liking to you, and slowly started moving operations to be underneath you, because your research happened to parallel his research in a gratifying way. But I digress. The point I'm having here is the experiment is over. Oppenheimer is none the wiser, and as far as I can tell, and he walks up behind him, he grabs the epoch from behind him and breaks it over his knee. Now there is nothing left to stop me. The sun is dead, and short of reviving the moon, there is nothing that can bring it back. So I tell you, thank you. You've at least made the end interesting for me. And when I start the next experiment, I'll name a continent after you. And with that, he saunters back up to the stone and turns his back to CJ.
All right. My word is watchers.
I guess I'll go. My word is unite.
My word is fisticuffs. All right, you get 3 vote choices this time, chat.
Make it easier.
I want them to get a notification on their phone that says, direct deposit, 1 vote from show and tell. Like, oh, sweet. Nice.
Oh, damn, I
Like
got
Venmo,
that.
but for chat footing.
We don't even do it bi-weekly.
Ooh, good stuff.
Time to throw down.
Yep, all right.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
fisticuffs.
CJ looks at the back of the boss, and he's already processed so much today. I guess what's another whole revelation about the world he lives in, but he doesn't fully understand what the system or the experiment is, but he knows if it's over, that means everything he knows will be over. So he screams at the top of his lungs, and he lunges for the boss, trying to tackle him from behind. But as soon as he grabs onto him, his body is cold and almost rigid, as if it's made of stone. It's so easy for him to shrug his shoulder back as he flies back across the room. The boss turns around and says, I haven't seen that one before. Do you have any last things you want to say before everything you know is gone? CJ picks himself off from the ground, and he sees falling out of his pocket next to him is the disc that has words on it, and as he looks at it, the letters start to rearrange. as it says the word hope. He thinks that's what he needs right now, so he picks it up and he holds it up to the boss. The boss almost flinches. He didn't expect that from him. He chuckles for a second and wow, you found yourself a discarded sun ray. There are side effects to blinking out the sun. Any rays that get lost can get captured in different objects, but how'd you end up stumbling upon one of those? CJ holds it up, hoping that something is going to happen. And the stone starts to glow as he tries to focus its energy, and the light shoots out and shoots right into the boss's face. CJ almost starts to crack a smile, but then a couple seconds go by and nothing's happening. CJ's like, he tries to use it more as he can barely get up as it is, and tackling didn't work the first time. The boss laughs to himself more and says, "It's a lovely souvenir you got for free from the shop, isn't it?" And he pushes against the tablet, and the override begins. What happens next?
My word is mirror.
My word is incomplete.
Armada.
My word is
Don't say Denny's.
Don't say Denny's. Decoded.
Alrighty.
IHOP. Yeah, that's right.
IHOB would be.
Yeah, this is the universe where they stuck with the burger.
This is the universe where they started with the burgers.
Yeah, the P is controversial.
Ultimately, I think that's why the director's trying to blot out the sun. That's where the experiment went wrong. It always should have been IHOP, not IHOB.
He hit the override?
Yes.
He did.
Okay. Right.
It is activated.
Okay.
As soon as he starts, oh wait, I forgot to put in the activation key.
Ah, shit. Two-factor verification. Give me a minute.
I gotta get
I'm not logged into that email on my phone. God damn it, I don't remember what my password is. God. Maybe I should have kept going to elaborate where I wanted that to go, but we'll see what happens.
That's not the point of collaborative storytelling. Doesn't matter where you wanted it to go. It's
That's
where
true.
it ended up.
That's true.
And where it ended up is Denny's.
And where it ended up is decoded.
Okay.
Decoded
okay.
fanning.
When you said he hits the override button, it was the boss man.
The director.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, sorry, just wanted to make sure I got it right. The director makes a fist and slams it back and hits the override button on the machine, and words start showing up in glow text all around the room. And the director says, see, this is the way that we source our power. It's from words. We've created and we've gained power from all of the different languages that have been created here. See, you don't even come close to understanding any of them. But then in CJ's hand, he holds the disc, and he begins to rotate it and twist it, and he sees the beam of light shoot out, and he sees one word in Norse sort of script, and he turns it, and the beam of light from the disc strikes the Norse phrase, and on the disc it says fight, and then he just immediately says fight, the word out loud, and then the director is confused, and more words are glowing around in various texts and alphabets, and one is glowing in the Russian alphabet, and CJ turns the disc, and a beam shoots out and strikes the Russian word, and it says unite, and CJ starts to realize, like, wait a minute, I've seen these words. I've seen these words before. And he begins to realize that they were in the book that he still has in his back pocket. He takes out the book in his back pocket, and the director says, well, Oppenheimer even gave you that? No matter. There's no way that you can stop this now. And he flips to the back, and he's, as quickly as possible, rotating his hand, rotating the disc, to be able to strike as many words that are glowing around him in all these different alphabets and languages. And he's looking for the passage in the book. And he's looking back and forth over and over again to try to find the passage. And then he finds his place in this book, in this purple tome. And he starts reading on the tome. He starts reading the words of the first letter to decode what's happening. And he realizes that it says, strike yourself with the beam, say what you must. And the director is, at this point, honestly kind of amused, just waiting to see what happens next. And CJ aligns the disc so that it would point at, wait a minute, no, it's another code. It's not myself. Pointed at where the sun should be. He aims the disc to where the sun should be. He knows it easily through his many years of study in the weather. Of course, at this point, it would actually be nighttime at this point anyways, so he has to point it through the earth. Luckily enough, the beam doesn't strike surfaces, so he can tell that it goes directly through the earth. And with it there, he speaks a phrase in every different language that's ever been spoken on planet Earth. What happens next?
My word is Oppenheimer.
Director.
Reflection.
Birth.
Barf.
Birth. Vote now on your phones.
Oh boy.
We're getting close to the end.
Feel it.
Or it's just getting started.
Chapter 1.
Let's hope this time we don't end up in a time spiral.
The preface. Acknowledgements finished. All right. Yeah, this is just the title scroll from the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't even had the credit or the like shot of the title of the movie yet.
Yeah.
Title card.
Title card, that's what it's called.
Oh boy. It's going away.
Any more votes? We need more votes, people. Your vote matters. Let's see it in chat. Hey-oh.
There we go. Uh-oh. Whoa.
Whoa.
Oh boy.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Oh, three-way tie.
Not what we needed.
We said your vote mattered. It didn't matter that much. Whoa.
Any fun?
Next vote is gonna decide it.
Unless they vote for director.
Not they better not.
We're running out of time. The little timer, it's going.
There it is.
Oh, all right,
Got 'em.
boys. Boys it is. With the beam of light pointed to where the sun should be, the disc starts to shake more and more, and light starts to fill the room. The director, even without his eyes, can tell how bright this light truly is. He starts to feel a little bit worried and says, "How did you even know to look there?" CJ, trying to contain the disc in his hands, says, "I'm not sure. I guess I just had to look where I hadn't before, like Oppenheimer said." The director scoffs. You should have never listened to anything that old kook says. He's crazy." CJ says, "Well, I guess that makes us two kooks, doesn't it?" The disc is shaking even more, and CJ starts to feel something from his body start to get pulled out of him. The light, as it's going into his eyes, are also pulling out. He starts to feel immense pain, and he starts to just only see darkness. He feels up at his face, and where his eye sockets once were are completely smoothed over, and the disc in his hand, it rushes out of the room and bursts through the ground in the line that it was going. The director looks at him and in his direction and doesn't believe it. He starts to scream at CJ, "You idiot! You ruined everything!" And right then, through the standing in the doorway, Oppenheimer's leaned against the wall, just sort of relieved. He says, "CJ, you did it." The director is surprised by Oppenheimer's presence and immediately says, You ruined everything I was trying to do." He picks up the Enoch and points it at Oppenheimer, but forgot that he smashed it over his own knee, and the Oppenheimer the Enoch malfunctions, and instead of the regular noise, it starts to make a different noise it never had before. And a big boom happens in the room. Everyone is flown in different directions. what were once the limbs of the director are now in several different places of this facility. He's dead for all intents and purposes. Oppenheimer runs over to CJ and picks him up and carries him out of that facility as quickly as they can. As they start to go up the levels, CJ remembers how it was getting hotter as he went down, but it starts to feel a little warmer as he heads up, and he can't tell quite when he's outside, but when he hits the earth, it feels warm. He can't see what's around him, but it's not as he left it before. CJ turns to Oppenheimer and says, What happened? And Oppenheimer said, "You looked where you had to. You found a piece of something that could then become whole. You put the sun's ray back in its spot. It's not as strong as the sun that the director took from us, but it will get there. It's from the same material and from the same energy. You put it back up in the sky. What happens next?"
Denny's.
Underground.
Polaris.
Excuse me?
Polaris?
Oh, Polaris, got it.
T.
All right. Vote away.
Alex, I really thought you were gonna be like IHOP.
I thought about it.
Perfect
I thought
game.
about it.
Vote, 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 vote. Like there's no tomorrow.
Like the sun's being taken
Yes.
away from you.
Yeah, there might not be.
Don't worry.
Your votes are safe with us. You can vote with us with trust.
You might have a limit, but that's okay because they're unlimited.
It's like single-use plastic, but it's single-use votes. But you get unlimited of them.
Single serving size, bro.
Oh yeah. We got a tie. If we want a tiebreaker, now's your chance. And it looks like T it is.
Okay.
Give us the tea.
Philip.
Oh, I'll give you the T. Oppenheimer says, why don't we take a stroll to your shack before we move on? And CJ says, all right. They get back on a car and they take a long, quiet ride up mountain roads back to his shack. And Oppenheimer says, put some tea on for us, please. And CJ says, I don't exactly understand. What's going to happen now? What am I supposed to do now that I'm like this? And Oppenheimer says, well, you see, that's sort of just the thing. See, in about 70 years ago, I was in a very similar position that you're in now, where the humans needed something, and we intervened. I took on their form. I did some research. I had no idea our current situation. I really thought that I was one of one of them. And once my time was done, I resumed my practice in our current state. And, well, CJ, you've actually been my friend for a very long time, and you'll probably find the memories coming back in. You just needed to do some research because we realized that this was an issue that was going to come up. So you see, how will you live on like this? Well, as you always have, by my side. And for once in CJ's life, he finished the tea before it got lukewarm. The end.
Yay, we did it. Good job.
And that's our story.
And we're sticking
A
to
game
it.
story.
Oh no. That's why we can't have nice things. Oh boy.
Ooh, the lore.
Wow, what a world, right?
Yeah.
Very interesting. The
Sorry,
eyes-
Lila. Nightbot just doesn't want to work for you. We've turned the day back on, so.
Amazing.
Well, what'd you think of our story, chat? A little happy tear.
Did it make sense? Did we lose any of you?
Yeah, did you not get the dialogue? You could have read the back of the book. We have a glossary there with some appendices of some of the terminology.
We're going to be releasing a textual form of this story. We're going to have someone transcribe it.
And then we'll also have like full footnotes, occasional like blurbs from one of us to clarify on some details and things like that.
The director's cut, yeah.
Yeah. And about us page for each of us.
And after that project wraps up, we will be releasing the Snyder Cut of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Snyder Cut of the Bible.
Of course, naturally, as you do. Right?
The Book of Snyder.
Forgotten disciple. Right?
The Snyder Testament.
Amazing. Well, we won't dilly-dally. Let's go say hello to our good friend Ellie. They normally don't stream too late, so this is a good chance for us to go say hi. Return the favor. Come on back Friday for some regular old improv shenanigans. Yeah, look forward to seeing everyone again real soon.
Also,
Thanks, everybody.
Also, if you haven't, you can still fill out the the Family Feud survey. It's pinned in our chat. That'll be happening next Tuesday, where we'll be doing Family Feud.
You can also still fill out the Jeopardy in our Discord channel, as far as I know. I don't think Susan has quite finished that, but get those submissions in because we're going to be doing that pretty soon too. So.
Yep. Jeopardy should be, we think, in 2 weeks. We believe Family Feud is next week and Jeopardy is the week after that. So you got back-to-back game shows.
Show loving.
Some really good stuff.
Some real choice stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ouija.
Ouija.
Ouija time. All right. Let's go say hi to Ellie, everyone.
All right.
All
Bye,
right,
everybody.
thanks.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to our story. Make sure your eyes stay in.
Yeah, keep your eyes on your face.
Yep.
If you hear the noise of the Enoch, run.
Don't pick up strange discs.
Or do,
Or do.
They might have
It
the
could help
sun.
save the solar system.